Did Post Malone really get cursed by the Dybbuk box, or is it all a lie? Hello, hey and howdy everybody, I'm Vessex and I like to do a little thing, or I'm starting to do a little thing where we have a little spooky night. We're going to talk about scary things, scary experiences I've done, and then later on I'm going to do a ghost hunt. The last year I actually went to Zack Bagans' Haunted Museum in Vegas. The museum itself is a house which is claimed to be haunted already. In the basement of the house was a lot of demonic rituals and a lot of things are still down in the basement to be seen. The house itself had a lot of deaths, a lot of ghost sightings and a lot of whatnot. But the main thing about this house is that Zack Bagans himself bought the house and is now using it as a museum where he hosts flashlight nights where you get to walk around with a flashlight and look for ghosts, and he hosts general nights or tours that you can go at the hotel. But the thing that makes this house scary, or museum should I say, is that it's filled with paranormal activity and paranormal objects. Zack Bagans decided to collect all of the most paranormal objects in the entire world and placed them all in this house in Vegas, which was already haunted. What a great idea! Let's put all of the bloody scary ghosts, scary things that I've seen on my ghost journeys, and just put them all in this room, in this house. We did the VIP tour, which opened up quite a few different extra things in the museum, not just the basement. And the first thing we got to see is Zack Bagans' room of toys, I think, or room of something. It was Zack Bagans' room of blah blah blah. And in this room, it was filled with the most horrifying dolls ever. And these dolls were all motor, whatever, and were turned on and staring at us. There was also like someone's head. I don't know if it was a real head or not, but it was someone's head, something was in the room with us as well. Honestly, when I walked into that room, it didn't feel weird. I was hoping that I'd walk in because of how the quantity of paranormal things in that museum. I thought I'd feel at least something. I felt nothing. I was a little scared because it looked a bit like it was creepy. I was creeped out. But it didn't feel like anything was in the room with us. Like I knew what was in the room with us. It was dolls. And that's what it felt like. Then we got to go around this corner where he said his most haunted dolls are. And they said we needed to go as quick as possible and not to linger in that hall. Otherwise they will attach to you. Again, I felt nothing. They did say that a lot of people see things standing there and whatnot. I felt nothing, honestly. Yeah, 0 out of 10 on the haunted counter. We then went into this separate room which was themed like a church. There was a bunch of chairs facing towards a cabinet. On top of this cabinet was a bunch of pictures of someone's exorcism. I can't remember the person's name. Inside the cabinet was apparently something. Apparently the cabinet was extremely haunted, and around the room was just a bunch of like things linking to exorcism and demons and that. In that room they played for us an extract of someone being exorcised. Positive mindset so that we don't upset the spirits because they can read our minds. What's the heck? The basement. The basement is not okay. The basement in that museum is messed up. Like we went down there. Oh my gosh, they have spirit boxes playing already down there, and they tell you to be as quiet as possible and go quickly, otherwise something will follow you. A lot of the crew members there said how they got chased up the stairs, and there's people who get chased up the stairs just naturally. That just happens. People just get chased up the stairs and make a bolt for it. Yeah, that's when I started to feel things. I didn't want to go down there. I was shaking. No way, Jose. That was 0 out of 10 on the enjoyability level. I'd say probably a 7 out of 10 on the paranormal activity level. Then we headed upstairs, and the first thing that we did upstairs was the clown room. Guys, I don't fuck with clowns. I don't like clowns. I really don't like clowns. Yeah, I closed my eyes and just ran. The entire room was just clowns. It was just clowns. Clowns that moved, clowns that stayed still, clowns that look weird, clowns that look normal, clowns on the ceiling, clowns on the floor, small clowns, big clowns, normal sized clowns. Clowns. It was all clowns with circus music. No! And that was the only way around it. There was no other way. It was just that way. No. And that room was just made to get your adrenaline up. I was like, I know what you're playing at. I know what you are doing, because I bet you the scariest things are up on this room. What is the Dybbuk box? We then went to the Dybbuk box room. So this is where the story and where I started this off with. Did Post Malone actually get cursed by the Dybbuk box? I don't know. So we went in the Dybbuk box room, and in there they played some sounds apparently related to it. They then told us about what it does and what happened with Post Malone.
You are a fan of rapper Post Malone. You know, he has not had the best luck lately. And now some believe it's because of something that he did during one of his trips to Las Vegas.
New video from Zack Bagans shows the rapper inside his haunted museum here in the Valley. Now, Bagans is seen touching what he calls the most haunted object, the Dybbuk box, which is, a box that supposedly has an evil spirit in it. Anyway, Then while he's touching that box, Malone is seen touching his shoulder. Bagans says Malone then saw a dark figure that night that followed them out of the museum. Some people think this is the reason Post Malone has had so many problems lately.
Then, a few weeks later, his car crashed when he came back to Vegas, or he was in Vegas, I can't remember. And a lot of people are relating it back to the Dybbuk box. Now, I went into the room with the Dybbuk box, and it had a glass thing around it, and then a second one on the outside of it. Sounds, the speakers were chants of like religious things, trying to keep it away or something. Outside were crosses, crucifixes. So I didn't feel anything in that room other than a little bit uncomfortable, because I've just come out of the clown room, and also because the speakers are playing those chants, which make it extremely eerie. But yeah, no, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel drawn to it. Then the next room we went to was Peggy the doll. Love you, Peggy, and I'm not gonna say anything mean about you. But yeah, no, there wasn't really much that happened with Peggy. I think she said a few things, but nothing stood out. I wasn't really scared, other than I looked into her eyes and I was like, oh. Went further down, and there was a few other things. I'm gonna skip them because there's a lot of like unnecessary things that we saw. But one of the things that really stood out was the Devil's Rocking Chair. If you don't know what the Devil's Rocking Chair is, that is what inspired the movie The Conjuring. And there was a lot of photos of the nun around the room as well to resemble The Conjuring. Now with the VIP pass, we were able to go up close to the chair. So I went in the room with the Devil's Rocking Chair and felt fine. They told us how it was how it inspired The Conjuring. A lot of people who sat on it got cursed or died. A lot of people died on it just in general, and that's what gave it the name the Devil's Rocking Chair. So the rocking chair originally was out freely for people to see and behind a fence. We came in and it was behind a fence, and now it is actually behind a glass panel. As soon as I stepped on the rug right in front of it, I felt so dizzy. Like, I genuinely felt sickly dizzy, and this was the most I felt the entire time. Dybbuk box, nothing. Start, nothing. Clowns, that's a whole different thing. I was just scared of clowns. This was the first time I felt something that I had no genuine reason to be scared of it, and it made me dizzy and it made me sick. So if anything in that museum is messed up, I personally would say the Devil's Rocking Chair. If you guys like this content, I like making scary content, and I've decided I'm going to do a bit more scary content. We are planning a lot of ghost hunts. They are going to be coming up in the future, some of which are Epping Forest, and there is a abandoned school near us that we're going to check out. I don't know if it will be a ghost hunt or just an abandoned house or abandoned site exploration, but if you guys like that content, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, share it to all your spooky friends, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!